This will be null. In fact, we can get rid of this. Because that didn't work the way I thought it was going to work. I was hoping we could set the like a point to that, but it has to be the root of the object. So we basically just moved the root up to the place where we wanted it. So okay, so now that's a little low. I think like right there for the chest is probably good. So let's do 5. Okay. So player. This was 4 was better. Yeah. And then let's fix these points because targets. Okay. So then props, no, not props, craftables, small treasure chest. Well, we need 2 points. We're holding it like this, right? So left hand IK, right hand IK. Let's put it like right on the handle. We'll have to do rotations, but for now we'll just get placement. Okay. Okay, good. This should be the right hand IK. And this is actually the left hand IK. Okay. So let's add a rig manager or a rig handler script. animation. Let's call this an animation rig handler. Sayonara animation. Okay. So we need a reference to the transform left hand IK, right hand IK. Yeah, that's it. And then we just need to expose these. So public transform right hand IK. Yep. Left hand. So we're just going to expose these things. So actually, let's call this the hand rig data. Yeah, hand rig data. Okay. Okay. So now, let me think about this. On the player, we have all this stuff managing things. Now what's important is the animation handler will need a reference to the rig. So we'll say serialize field, private rig. And this will need reference to Unity Engine Animations rigging. And we'll call this the hand rig. Okay. Actually, we're going to need a new component. We're going to call this the hand rig controller. So we have the hand rig data, we have the hand rig controller. Okay. The hand rig controller let's have a public set data, public void, oh come on, void set data, which will take in the hand rig data component, data, okay. We will need a private transform right hand root, private transform left hand root. Actually, let's call this left hand IK target, IK target. And then when we get the data in, we're going to say data dot right hand IK dot position rotation left hand. And actually, can't you do left hand IK target dot set set local? Let's do it that way. Is it local? And then we can do hand right. Wow. Hand right. Set location and position. Ah, come on. Think we can get away with this. Right hand position. And why did I call it hand? This should be right hand IK target. So we have the right hand RK target, left hand IK target. We have a set data. This will also need a reference to the rig. Hand rig. Let's import this. Public. Void. Set rig. Weight. Okay. Okay. So let's actually call this the hand rig. And then we can say hand rig controller. Actually, this is on this component, so we can say that this just requires a component of type rig. We can just make this private, and in private void awake, we can say get the rig component. So we don't have to set it. But what we do need to say is set the targets. So right hand, left hand. Okay. So let's go back up to the player object. And instead of the hand rig here on the animation controller, we're going to use our hand rig controller. And we're going to say oh, am I in the wrong class here? No, I'm in the right class. Because we want to handle it here, because it's all related to animation. So from the object handler, we need to know when we pick up an object. Because then what we're going to do is we're going to take that object. We're going to check to see if it has hand rig data. If it has hand rig data, then we're going to set the data on the rig controller and then set the weight to 1. So public void set holding object. And this should be a game object. And we will say if object dot try component, not hand rig controller, but hand rig data. We say hand rig controller dot set data, and then set rig weight equals to 1. Else, if object is null, actually we'll just do return. Otherwise, we're going to set the rig weight to 0 and be good there. We also probably want to say if hand rig controller is null, skip it because you have to set it here. And it's just a safety check. Okay. Now let's make sure we assigned our hand rig here. Okay, hand rig controller. So now we just have to figure out a way to call set holding object. What is the best way to do that? When we interact with an object, so the object manipulator can call it. Player animation handler. We have on equipment changed. I think we should call from object manipulator. So this needs access to the... Actually, we have this object held. So the... No, not serialized field. Required component. Object manipulator. Private object. Okay. Here we say object manipulator dot try and get component. No. On object held. On object released. On object held. On object released. We're calling the same function. But actually, we don't want to call the same function. This should be object manipulator. On, and actually this will say on object held. Create this on object released. Okay. So on the released one, we check if we have this. We don't care about this. We're just going to set this to this. And we could technically set the data to null, which we should. And rig controller set data null. Okay. Let's see if this works. It did. It worked. But we gotta position a hand so we can actually see them. Okay. So actually, all we have to do, technically, now, to extend this is, let's say we go to the bucket now. Actually, the lootable chest. Let's do that one. Props, lootable chest, looted chest. So all we have to do now is add a hand rig data script. Oh, say goodbye. Ban. And report. Hey, Slow Dive. How's it going? We did a couple of things today. We cleaned, we fixed crafting. We fixed some dialogue stuff. Yeah, I think we made pretty good progress today. Right now what I'm doing is I'm kind of fixing the interaction when you pick stuff up. So we cleaned up the fact that you now, when you pick stuff up, you switch to your hands. So if you were holding a weapon or holding a tool, you switch back to your hands. And then what I'm doing is I'm using the animation rigging package in Unity to actually put your hands on the object to make it look like you're holding it. So right hand, left hand. And actually we're going to, oops. So we're holding it like this. So this is actually the left hand. So we go over here. Okay. And now let's go to the bucket. That's the only other thing we can pick up. And we pick it up like this. So what we do is add this data. Then we add 2. So yes, that's what we're doing. Basically what we're doing is we're setting individual points where we want the hands depending on the object. So for the bucket, the hands will be like here. And for the chest, they would be wider. So now this should all wire into our system. Yep. We're using the animation rigging package. So the animation rigging package looks like this. You have a rig builder on the thing that's going to have like change, right? So this is the animator. This is the top level component with an animator and everything, right? Because the rig builder is going to override the animator. Then we have rigs, which is just rigs. And then we have a hand rig. So this is a specific rig that we're creating. As a child of the hand rig, we have the left hand and the right hand. And these are 2 bone IK constraints. So one is for the left arm, one is for the right arm. And we're using the IK constraint shoulder, elbow, hand, right? And then it's target. Okay, so it's target. This is the target. This is the target for the right hand. This is the target for the left hand. Now, what we're doing is, like, the hands are going to, when we turn this rig on, in fact, actually, I can show you. Oh. Cancel. Actually, I need it at separate screens so I can show you in the editor. Let me just make this a little bigger so we can see. Okay. All right. So right now the hands are screwed up because the rig is on. So I have to, when the game starts, if I can find the player, the rig here, this rig should be actually off. So it should be off, right? So that's our hands. Then when we go to the treasure chest, we make one, we pick it up, the rig went back to 0, went back to 1, and now, but we remap the hands to the points that we set on the chest. So now the hands are pointing towards these points. And the points have been remapped to the spots that we put on the chest, right? Now, it's not really visible in the game view because the chest is down here, but if I move this hold object up a little bit, and then we hold on, and then we drop this. Whoa, okay, that was weird. That was bananas. Where'd that chest go? And we're getting no references too, so we clearly broke something. That was not intended. What is it saying? Oh, set. I think I'm calling set data null. Yeah, I'm calling set data null. So this should be Oops. Say if I didn't know. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to store the private transform original position, original right hand IK target, and then original left hand target, and then actually wait, no, I don't have to do that. That's fine. We just, if it's null, we're just going to return.